They say a man never really knows himself. I wonder, how well do you know yourself? Hell, it's about time.
Hello and welcome, my friends, to this pop-up live stream. I love that intro. For those of you who don't know, that comes from StarCraft 2, which is that's when that's when Blizzard was at its heyday. I wish Blizzard would actually make films based on the story from StarCraft 2, because it's a fantastic story and their animation is really great. In fact, they should have kind of split their game studio and made a film studio and a gaming studio, in my opinion. But so tonight we're here to talk, and I apologize, my mic's been giving me fit. I used to have a really cheap mic, and I went and bought one of these blue whatever mics, and I've had nothing but problems with it ever since I got it. So I'm just like, why did I spend that much money on a mic? Anyway, so now I know this may be a little confusing because I just did a video here a couple days ago saying that I was not going to be doing any more on Superman, or I wasn't going to be doing any more videos on Superman. I'd kind of given my last word. But then I had the opportunity to where I did not have to go pay for the film. A friend provided me a method by which I could see the film without breaking my vow of not actually going to it. And so I did get a chance to watch it, although towards the very end of it, almost right at the end, something happened and I couldn't see the rest of it. But it was right at the end. So I missed the ending scenes. I missed the ending credits and stuff like that. But so this is going to be spoilery. I'll try and not be. I'll basically be going off of things that you see in the trailers. And then giving you more of an overall perspective. If you're not planning on seeing this in the theater, that you're not going to miss anything. Hopefully I won't mess up too much for you. I'll try and be careful. But I'm going to talk about this because it's just something that needs to be discussed. And I know there's been a lot of people talking about it, but I'm coming at this from a very different perspective. The perspective of I'm done giving Hollywood the benefit of the doubt. If it looks like crap and it smells like crap and then the media portrayal is crap and the trailers are crap, I'm going to assume it's crap and I'm just going to check out. And see, that's where I want to start with this. So I started the original trailer came out and I thought, okay, that doesn't look bad. I was surprised to see a bunch of extra characters in there from the Justice League. They're called the Justice Gang in this film. That's kind of a running joke actually throughout the film. So the first original trailer, I was like, okay, maybe. But as more trailers started to come out, it got worse. The trailers were not good. They were showing stuff that I was like, that made me feel like the tone of this film was going to be bad. It was not going to be what I was hoping. And I got to say, so at the very beginning, you get hints of the John Williams score from Superman 79, I think it was 79 or 80 when the first one came out, the Donner film, and that's great. I mean, you get a little bit of that tingle, you get a little that feel of like maybe, and then that's really they kind of hint to that in the music a couple times throughout the rest of the film, but the rest of the soundtrack is really lackluster. It does not have that feeling that comes from John Williams' score. Some of it is just like it's not terrible, but it's like, like this is super bad. This is like it's supposed to just grab you, and I mean, and it just starts off kind of where we see in the trailers with him in the Antarctic, and that was one of my biggest issues with this film as I went along. And I've heard this in some of the reviews, but now I see what they're talking about. When you start off in this film, you are very much in the middle of a story. You are not. You are in the middle of something. Okay, this is not a story where there's kind of a start and a middle and an end. There's like you pick up in the story about, I don't know, at some point in this where like the story's already started, and it's been running and you don't know how long, and that's very much the feeling you get from the very beginning of this film. You feel like, wait, what how okay, how did he get hurt? One, you don't know how he's gotten hurt. Like I said, you've seen this in the trailers, and the dog, he whistles, the dog comes running over and beats the crap out of him, which tonally was just not good. It was awful. It's a little bit explained in the end by one of the ending credit scenes, but it just, the tone is wrong for this film. Okay, and I know that Nerdrotic he made a video called, no, I take that back. It was Robot Head who did a video called Guardians of Superman. And that's what this feels very much like. It might have been. It might as well. This is what it actually was. If you saw this film, you saw Superman. You saw the latest Superman. They just switched different characters. They put DC characters in here instead. You get the same humor. That at some points, it's kind of okay, but the rest of the time, you're just like, okay, I feel like this is like off, and the story feels very. It's like whoever wrote this was part of a military complex that they had a division of labor. So it's like all right, you write this scene and 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 you write that scene, and then we'll just moosh them all together and we'll try and fill in the edges to make it and that's what you feel like. You feel like you're in a very disjointed where you're already supposed to have feelings for these characters, although they're new. I mean, they're yes, it's Superman, it's Lois Lane, it's Jimmy, it's all those characters, but like these are new actors, these are new characters to you. Yes, very much Kamikaze. It felt very much like a movie by committee, or at least that's the way it was filmed. I don't know if that's the way it was written, but that's how it felt like it was filmed. Like they filmed all these different segments and then just went like they took them in a thing and went, like they're shuffling cards. That's what this felt like. It just did not have a cohesive feel. So the overall film ends up feeling disjointed, and the characters more often than not don't feel like they're especially Superman does not feel like he's acting like Superman in several instances. It just, you feel like you're watching a different superhero in Superman's costume. like you've got a cross-dresser in the costume. You don't know who, what, where, but and so I kind of struggled with that aspect of it, where I just felt like, wait, what's happening? And how, like, why is that happening? And why is he so angry? And because you get this reference that Superman at the beginning has just stopped a war from happening in this imaginary country, which very, very much comes off as it was portrayed as it's like a Russia-esque kind of country. They speak Russian, and then it ends up feeling very much like a Baltic kind of state, where he's tried to go in and stop this one country from invading another country. And forgive me for not telling you the names, because they won't mean anything because you've never heard them before. But anyway, so Tom Forsyth says everyone in Superman's family was portrayed badly. The Kents are fat. He's drilling. That's got to be one of the best. Tom, that's awesome. That you just, you said it right there. You talk. I wish I'd have thought of that, but no, it was terrible. I mean, the Kents they're played very much like bumpkins. His dad is awful. I mean, I like the actor. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking actors. I'm talking how they were portrayed. Okay. His dad comes off as this wimpy ball baby. At one point, his mom even says that. Oh, when it comes to our boy, he's just a big boob. Basically something like that. And it's just like, I've about had it with fathers being portrayed as either stupid, weak, or incompetent, or like a combination of that. But yes, very much so. And I mean, I've met people like these two characters, but like Kevin Costner, for all the faults of Man of Steel, Kevin Costner's played a much better Jonathan Kent. The guy that I just lost his name. The guy that played the dad in Smallville, I think, is probably my favorite portrayal of Clark, of Kent, Papa Kent. He feels like a real dad. He feels like a real a figure that would have shaped this superhero's life in Smallville. And it's the guy from Dukes of Hazzard. I can see his face, but I can't think of his name. He plays one of the best Jonathan Kents out there. And there's been a lot of different portrayals and stuff, but I think his is by far the best. He was written the best for that role. And there's been some really great Martha Kents. Martha, why'd you say that name? I think there's been some great Marthas, but this lady did okay. I'm not gonna crap on this lady and say she didn't do okay. She plays kind of a strong Southern woman, but the accents seem really wrong. It's like they think Kansas people talk like the people in Texas, and they don't. Speaking as a guy who travels all over the country and hears a bunch of different people talk, Kansasites, whatever you want, Kansasoians, whatever they are, don't sound like Texans. Okay, there's a little bit of a different twang there, but for the most part, no, they kind of sound more like me. I have an Idaho accent. You'll hear kind of southernish tones come out of Idahoans periodically, but realistically, no, that's not what you're hearing. So I thought their accents were terrible. And yes, it's been one of my biggest criticisms of this film from what I've been hearing from the people, other reviewers and stuff, is that and the fact that they did Jor-El and Laura L just dirty. They did them terrible. They, and it's funny because and I've talked about this before as well, but in Smallville, they kind of allude to the fact that Jor-El kind of sent him here to be a ruler, but he kind of fights against that. But it comes out in Smallville, which I actually really liked. I watched it I watched everything Superman until just a few years ago. The last few iterations I haven't really paid attention to. The TV shows and stuff like that. Anyway, yes, Man of Steel. Man, I liked Man of Steel. It's not my favorite Superman film, but Henry Cavill was wasted on the Snyderverse. Henry Cavill is Superman. I mean, he is Superman. Now I have to say the David Sweat, whatever his name is, actually did a pretty good job as Clark Kent and as Superman. He actually did an okay job. I can't really fault him. Okay, sorry. Like I said, my mic's had issues. I don't think he's near as good as Cavill. I think Cavill really did Superman the best. Since Christopher Reeves. I mean, Reeves will always be, to me, the height of Superman. That's as good as it's ever going to get. I don't know that anybody will ever outdo Reeves. But I mean, there's like a hair's width between Reeves and Henry Cavill. They're that close. But the problem here is besides the Jor-El and them being Nazis and Kara, yeah. So one of the end scenes that I didn't get to see, but I've kind of researched it to see what happened in it, is you see Supergirl at the end of this in one of the post-credit scenes. And she shows up, and you find out that Krypto, the obnoxious, stupid, craphead dog that kind of bothered me through the whole film, till the end, where I was just like, okay, now he's tolerable. You find out that crappy dog is hers. And I'm just like, oh, that makes sense. I make sense. Yeah. Girls with dogs that didn't want to train them. Oh, everything you do is wonderful. It's okay. Go over there and eat the mailman. It's all right. It's the mailman's fault for looking so tasty. Anyway, so you find out, but I mean, and I can see if I can pull up a picture of what she looks like here, because I want to show this to you, because my first reaction was just like, okay, who did the bad dye job on her hair? I know I'm sounding like I know I'm sounding like, oh, what terrible hair job. I'm doing it sound like a cross-dressing. Let me see if I can pull up this picture that you see. But she gets out. You see her. She shows up, and she's got dark roots and this bleached blonde hair that's like ratty. And I'm just like, what the hell? I'm not finding her. You'll have to go and look at. I'll keep kind of looking here as I'm talking. But it was like, wait, what? It didn't make sense to me why they would cast somebody who looks this wrong for the part. Especially when they have had some really great Supergirls. Millie Alcock? Is that AI? I'm not sure if you're just messing with me, Tom, or that's how you actually say her name. Well, you're cracking me up tonight. Anyway, okay. Let me see if I can. Let me share my screen here. because it is not. It is not something that I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be good. So okay, so this is her, and that's what she climbs out as Supergirl, and that's what she looks like. So it's like she's got a bad dye job. Okay, but she's got like this bad dye job, and then down here, and like when her hair's down, it looks worse. It looks worse, and I'm just like, and I mean, here's what she's supposed to look like. Okay, this is a good representation here of what Supergirl should look like. All blonde, like it's not like she went to the went and had bad hair day or went to the wrong salon and the gay guy wasn't there and the straight guy did her hair that day. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened here. With what they like, I'm serious. Like seriously, did nobody go to her and be like, "Hey, sweetie, yeah, we need you to pay for the whole dye job, okay? And then you've got to keep dyeing your hair as long as you're in this movie." I mean, so that was just, yeah. I mean, but that's what she's supposed to look like. She's just. I mean, and if you watch Smallville, the girl that played Supergirl in Smallville was so Supergirl. Let me see if I can pull her up for those of you who maybe never watched that. No, there's got to be a better, bigger picture of her than that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let me show you this one. So this was the Supergirl from Smallville. Now you tell me, between those two images, who would you rather want to see a movie? Somebody playing Supergirl. I mean, this is what we had, and now we've got I can't do my hair properly, dye job, I don't know. Anyway, so that bothers me, but so now we're going to go back to so overall the acting was pretty good in this, but like I said, it's like they just spliced this together. You feel like you're out of sync throughout this entire film. Like you literally just feel like you get whiplash. You're like, wait, what? Now okay. I mean, it's like you got to watch it on 16 different screens in your brain to keep track of it, and it's just like, this is chaotic. And I mean, I can usually keep track of stuff going on in movies pretty good, but this one it will give you whiplash. And like, so Lex Luthor hates Superman. Okay. And boy, they make that abundantly clear. Hates him, just wants to destroy him. And like, but there's no real, like, you don't get a sense that there's, like, why, like what's happened. Like there's been all of this stuff. And that's another thing you're going to feel. There's been all of this stuff that has happened up until this point that you know nothing about. You've just been like, boop, you've just been dropped in. It's like opening. It's like trying to read the Harry Potter books. If like she started with book 4. Like if you go and try, you've never read the Harry Potter books before, and you go and start reading book 4. You're not going to know who these people are, why they're important, why they're acting the way they are, what's going on. Like honestly, I did not want them to go back and do the origin story again. We have got that origin. I mean, we know the origin story. Like I would have liked if they were going to kind of shelve the origin story, which they should have started pretty close to when he first came to Metropolis. And as he's building his reputation as Superman. But they didn't want to do that work. They just wanted to, I mean, and that's the sense I got, that they just wanted to move on. They just wanted to get further down the story and just dump us into the middle of something. And it's like, but you don't understand why this stuff's happening, what's gone on before this. You're not sure why like Luthor is so. I mean, and honestly, I really like the actor that plays Lex Luthor. I was really glad to see Nicholas Hoult get cast as Luthor because I like him. He does a good job in almost everything he's given. He was so good in Mad Max Fury Road. I didn't even know that was him until towards the end of the film. I'm like, oh my hell, that's Nicholas Hoult. I mean, so I just yes, thanks, Tom. First rule of cinema: show, don't tell. And that's what you get. You get these dialogue drops where they're trying to catch you up to speed, but it's not enough. Like it is so not enough. Like you constantly feel like you are out of sync with what's happening, why it's happening, and you're just like, please, God, just I don't understand why any of this is going on. Somebody, can we pause the film? James Gunn, can you come out here and tell us why? What is going? I mean, you will feel very out of sync with time when you're watching this film, and it's sad because as Loki was telling me, like he said he felt like this had a very 90s Superman cartoon feel. And you do kind of get that feeling, but it's not as well written as a Superman cartoon episode from the 90s. That's the problem. Like, because those were self-contained episodes that you understood what was going on, you figured out the character, like you knew what was happening in each episode, even though they weren't like sequential all the time. Like just like with the Batman animated series, it was never like you were in this sequence thing. You'd get random stories about different places and different things, and sometimes they'd have a 2-parter episode or whatever. But in this, you just feel like this is not a self-contained story. You are lost. The Superman robots were so bad. I mean, just and I love the guy that plays the voice of Thor, which he's the main robot. Alan Tudyk is a fantastic voice actor. I love Alan Tudyk. I love everything he's in. He's just fantastic, and he couldn't save them. He couldn't save the robots. The robots are weak. They are pathetic. There is like, you end up sitting there going, this is all based off Kryptonian technology. And Krypton was a super advanced society. I mean, pardon the pun, super advanced society. And you feel like the Lex Luthor has better technology than Superman, than Kryptonians did at the height of their power. That's when at the height of their civilization, right as it falls, that's when Superman gets sent to Earth, and he would have had access to all of that. All of that would have been sent from, Jor-El would have sent all those records, all the computer files, you get this in the comic books and the animated stories and stuff. I mean, he actually makes Superman robots that are nearly as strong as Superman. That's the kind of thing that like you should have seen. You should have seen technology where when Lex goes and invades the Fortress of Solitude, that they actually had to struggle, and like they didn't. Like they walked in there like they owned the place. The robots are like just get hacked up, falling down, and it's just. And there's this weird thing where they're trying to act as though the humans don't, or the robots don't have feelings, and yet they're expressing emotions. And I'm like, it's what I mean. It's whiplash. You're just like, in 1 minute, they're like, we have no emotions. And the next minute, one of the robots like, he looked at me. And I'm like, that's an emotion. It's like, so wait, this you programmed this robot with the Valley Girl personality? Like, is that what happened? This is 12. She's new. She's a Valley Girl. So, and it's all done for this like yucks and giggles, and like I say, the tone is just awful. It's this, and it's not supposed to be this. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy is not what this movie was supposed to be. It's not what it should have been. Anyway, I don't understand why. I mean, and this does not make me want to go see anymore. I'm like, no. I mean, it show you how goofy this is. So there's this point at which, let me see if I can pull it up, and I'll just kind of show you what I'm talking about. As like the tone is wrong, how Superman is acting is wrong. It's just bizarre. So, pardon me. Let me put this in here. So, oh, that's the wrong thing. Oh, hang on. I'm sharing the wrong screen. And oh, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. That one. There we go. I got it. All right. Thanks for your patience. So you've seen this in the trailer. Now, what's going on is Superman is there's a warrant out for his arrest because because Lex went to the fortress and found out that Jor-El and his wife totally want Superman to take over the planet and screw as many women and have as many Kryptonian half babies as he can. Okay, it's bizarre. No, I'm sorry. No, wrong, James. You're stupid. And then that whole plot point right there just shows how dumb you really are. So here's Superman, and so there's this big extra dimensional alien, like what we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 at the very beginning. It's kind of like that. And you've got Mr. Terrific, the Green Lantern, and Hawkgirl, who you can't see it here, but you see them fighting this extra dimensional alien. You got Green Lantern, you see this giant baseball bat whacking it over the head, being formed out of the Green Lantern ring and stuff. And Superman and Lois is here, and Superman's like, and she's like, well, shouldn't you go help with that? And he's like, no, I went and looked, they've got it. I'm like, wait, you think Superman would just go and sit it out to pout because his mom and dad's video got tampered with, and now everybody hates him, and they threw a pop can at his head that bounced off and didn't even hardly mess up his hair? I was just like, what? What is he, 6? He's pouting like a little girl while there's an extra dimensional alien trying to destroy the city in the background. Like, no. And it's played off as this jokey, they could handle it, and it is so just a horrible tone, and it shows Superman being apathetic. Hey, Sergeant. Thanks for popping in. It shows him as being apathetic, and it's played off as this giggle fest, like this massive, like, and they play this like that throughout the whole movie, that these big monsters, horrible tragedies, terrible things happening, and everybody's standing around going, hey, Bob, so how was your drive in from work this morning? Oh, yeah? Oh, that's too bad. You almost hit a dog? All right. Oh, cool. Where are you going for lunch, man? You got any idea? I mean, that's what you see, like people standing around staring at these huge monsters. And so you get this juxtaposition of this horror is supposed to be going on in the back. All these monsters by meteors fall ask, and people are just like, hey, you think we ought to run? It's so you don't feel like it's the tragedy that it is. Like there's this really serious thing going on. It's like just bizarre. And I mean, it kind of goes to show the people that'll be like, I can get famous if I video this thing. I mean, you're gonna get some of those, but when a huge monster like the one that you see in the trailer looks like a weird dinosaur in the middle of the city, that pops up as a distraction. Okay, that's Lex Luthor's distraction to keep Superman from coming back to the fortress too early. And like, so he's punching this monster and he's doing this stuff, and then the Green Lantern and Hawkgirl and the other people show up to help him with this Dyna monster dog thing. I don't know what it is, and and they like end up killing it. And Superman's mad at them. He's like, we could have saved that. We could have took that to an extra dimensional zoo. We could, and I'm just like, it shows you that Superman has a lot of humanity to him, but at the same time, you're like, yeah, And while you're trying to save this giant thing, it's crushing cars, smashing buildings, killing people that are too stupid to get out of the way. Superman would not have Superman would have prioritized the human beings being killed. He would not have cared that this big thing, we need to save it so we can take it to a zoo somewhere and have it put on his, like, no, that is not what would have happened. And the same thing's going on with this big alien in the back. It's played off as laughs. It's like, so wait, an extra dimensional being shows up to kill people in the city and destroy things, and it's no big deal. It's just Tuesday. The tone of this film is, as I said in the title for this film is just shy of awful. It's not a horrendous film. It's not the worst film I've ever seen, but it is one of the worst Superman iterations that I've seen. You could see that it had potential. You could see that there were possibilities. Had this been handled in a different way, and had they taken a little bit more of a serious tone in some of the places, and if they'd have left the goofy humor to the Clark Kent side of Superman, like we got in the Donner films, where Clark Kent and Christopher Reeves was fantastic at the physical comedy. He really was. He just, as Clark Kent, oh man, he was terrific. He was so good at both of those things. And you don't, and David Cornsweet, I feel like he didn't get to be that, and they seem to keep doing that even in Man of Steel. Like, they don't really make Clark Kent as goofy and clumsy, because that's what protects Clark Kent from being found out as Superman. Not not like in this film where it's like, oh, there's these hypno glasses that keep people from recognizing that he's Superman. I'm like, okay, maybe that could be a possibility of a thing here, but no, no. This really is the thing that made Clark Kent hard to detect. His Superman side is how klutzy he was, how goofy he looked. I mean, he had hair one way when he was Superman, and hair like greased back and slicked up, and it was really nerdy looking, like with the really severe part down the one side. I mean, he did not look like Superman when he was Clark Kent. There were moderate similarities, but he was so klutzy and goofy, and like there's no way you would ever believe that those two people could be the same person. And that's Kamikaze. That's why I wouldn't go see this in the theater, because I am just tired. I'm just like you. I am so tired of meh. I am so tired of paying to get into a movie, to sell one of my kidneys so I can buy popcorn and sodas for everybody that's going with me, so that I can come out of the theater just going, can I get a refund? Can I get all that time? I want my time back. I'll even give you back your popcorn. It's like, I don't want everything. I want my time and money and everything back, because that was not worth it. It was not worth it. And that's what this movie is. This movie is just good enough to not be awful. But Lex's character, he balls at the end of it. He comes off sounding like the only reason he hates Superman so bad is because Superman's more popular than I am. Seriously, by the end of the film, I was just like, are you shitting me? Pardon my expression here, but like, are you shitting me? That's what you're mad about? That he stole your thunder? He's more popular than you? People like him more than you? Like, I'm serious. I'm like, are you sure you guys aren't in high school? Everybody in this film is acting like they're in 12th grade. And it's like the popularity thing. Well, I just gotta make sure that Sarah's not wearing the same dress to prom as me. But that's what you get. That is what you get throughout this whole film. It's kind of childish motives, simplistic ideas of right and wrong that aren't actually connected to any moral thing that makes sense, like trying to save a monster that's killing people in the middle of the city. It's like, no, nobody would do that. Nobody. The only thing that I thought was awesome and terrific about this film was Mr. Terrific. He was great. He was the only reason that this show was just like, I want to kill somebody. I mean, seriously, that's I don't know how many times during the film I felt this way.
What a bunch of hippy dippy baloney.
It just like, seriously? I don't know. I just don't. I can't quite figure. I mean, and half the time, this actually describes the way I felt watching this film.
Makes me just want to pick up whoever is standing closest to me and just throw them through this window and out into the infinite abyss of nothingness. I want to do it so bad.
I know you do, sir.
Seriously, that's what I wanted to do. I mean, most of this film, I just wanted to pick someone and just, because it such lost opportunities, so many possibilities for something good. This could have been good. You've got good casting. You've got the actors there that could do the job. I was not a fan of the Lois Lane character. I don't know that actress very well, but I didn't feel like she was that great. She comes off more as an enemy in this film than as an ally to Superman. She's all conflicted and doesn't know if she likes him or not. And I'm going to sit down this interview and be a total biatch to you because I want to. Seriously, just like I said, this should have been a high school play, played by high school kids, because when the actors came to James Gunn and said, "What's my motivation?" He was like, "Okay, you're a senior in high school, and you're a bitchy little." I mean, that's why I feel like James Gunn's directions to these guys were. I want you to play this like a sad, pathetic little 12-year-old who's never been told no in your entire life. I kept feeling that throughout this whole film. I'm like, please just, like, can you grow up? I mean, I'm a big child. I mean, and just ask my wife. She'll tell you I'm a big child. But I know when to be serious and I know when to not be serious. It's like, you know what? There's these things, James, called proportions. And you need to figure out how to proportion things so that it's not just this big jumble of. Because, I mean, I wish I had that clip where, in Jurassic Park, where the one guy walks up and he's like, "That is one big pile of shit." Because that's what this turned into. And it didn't need to. Nathan Fillion puts in a fantastic performance as Guy Gardner in this. He was one of the brighter points in this, but he couldn't save it either. It's an Element Man. I'm not that familiar with Element Man, but I thought that was kind of interesting, where he's kind of used as kryptonite to hurt Superman and stuff. But there's this thing where they're in this pocket dimension, and it's like. The whole pocket dimension thing, especially towards the end when they try and turn it into a rift that's going to rip the earth in half, and it's just like, well, I can fix this by pushing on my keyboard, and I'm just like, so you can just turn it on and off a rift that's going to rip the earth in half, which you've all been talking like this is the worst thing that's ever happened in the world. Mr. Terrible has constantly told us throughout this film that this is a terrible thing, and once it starts, we can never stop, and we're all going to die. And then they shut it off like, whew, boy, we clipped that wire for that bomb just in time. Anyway, so I think this movie, I think I was given the opportunity to watch this film by my friend. I think that he was hoping it would change my mind about this. And I have to admit, I was kind of hoping a little bit myself. I was like, okay, maybe. I mean, he must believe in this strongly enough if he's helping me see this film where I don't have to pay for it. And But at the end of the day, I ended up coming away feeling like, yep, I was 100% right. If you want to know what this movie is like, you can go back and watch every single one of the videos I did before I saw it. And I can tell you I was 100% right with what I felt about this movie from the very beginning. Hey, Loki, thanks for jumping in here, man. No, I mean, I can't say I'm glad I saw it, but I have weird emotions about this. I'm like, I feel vindicated and angry that I was vindicated at the same time. It's like, this is one of those times when I hate being right. I wish I was wrong. I wish I could come to you and say, this was good. This was a passable film. I'm going to watch it again. Chances are I'll never watch this movie again. It's the same way I feel about Superman Returns. Wasn't the worst movie in the world. The guy that played Superman was really good in that version. They even got the original Ma Kent to come back from the original films, from the Donner films, and play, Martha Kent again. So, I mean, they had a pretty decent villain in the Lex Luthor. I mean, they got the child pervert or the gay pervert, whatever his name is, that, that Hollywood hates now and stuff. I mean, he did a good job as Lex Luthor, but the story was terrible. Like the story for that film was just awful. Like it just, and I feel bad for that guy who played Superman because he actually did a good job, and he actually looks more like Superman than whatever his name is. Brandon Routh, I think, was that guy's name, and he really did look the part of Superman, and he did a good job in the film. It just the film was terrible. The story was bad. Yes, you said it, Martin. It's hard to get, and that's the only thing I'm looking forward to this year is Tron Ares, and I'm looking forward to that with like a yay and a God, please don't let him. I mean, seriously, it's the same thing with this. Until when the trailer started coming out for this, and I was just lining my expectations and stuff just started going down. The only thing with Tron Ares so far, I'm feeling more optimistic as the trailers come out instead of like what happened with this one, where the trailers are making me feel worse about it. I wish they would have continued on with the story from Tron Legacy. I really like the characters from that. I love that movie. I love that movie from the moment I saw it. I was a Tron Legacy fan. I liked the original Tron back in the 80s. But that's the only thing I'm excited to see. And I swear if they mess it up, I'm just going to be like, I quit. I'm never watching anything again. But yeah, no, just to understand what you're going to see. If you go see this, I'm telling you that if you want to know what this is like and what you're going to end up feeling, if you're a Superman fan, if you're really into this kind of stuff, you're going to come away disappointed and feeling a lot like I do. My wife and my second oldest daughter went and saw it in the theater, and they both liked it. They're both like, "Oh, it's really good," but they don't care very deeply about this kind of. For them, it was just like, "Oh, it's just a fun summer action flick," and and if that's what you're looking to get out of this, yeah, this is going to be an okay film. You're going to walk away going, "No, it's fine." But if you actually care about these characters and you care about this universe, and you're so tired of seeing them screw this up, you're going to come away very disappointed with this film. Do yourself a favor. Just go watch the animated Batman series, the animated Superman series, and the animated Justice League. 500,000 times better than this. Just this is not even close. It's not even close. Like, I can't even put them on a scale together because the 90s era DC animation and stuff, it just almost cannot be topped. As far as like, and that's what kills me. They have the code. They have the playbook. They have exactly what they need to make the perfect DC universe, and they don't use it. Go back, watch the cartoons, and be like, okay, now we can't do it exactly like this, but we can. But this is the roadmap. This is how you make the most popular DC franchise ever. And they just won't do it. We either get Zack Snyder with so dark, so twisted, so unrelatable in his characters that you're just like, and see, he had the same thing. Great casting, horrible storytelling. The wrong tone, the wrong pitch, the wrong feeling. We should have got the really light and bright, hopeful side of Superman clashing with the dark and cynical and just the dark side that is Batman. Because those two kind of balance each other out and they end up playing very well. But in Zack Snyder's universe, you felt like you were in this dark, horrible place no matter what character was on the screen. And I'm like, that's not how that's supposed to feel. You're supposed to feel that juxtaposition between those two characters. And then you've got the ensemble around them in the Justice League that comes in later on, that should have come later on in this. This is not a Superman film. This is a Justice Gang film. Superman is kind of a bit character in this film. You will not feel like he is the number one hero in this. I thought it was really cool to see them building the Justice League building as I remember seeing it in Super Friends when I was a kid. I thought, wow, that's a throwback. That's kind of cool. You know, that was a cool member berry moment for me. I'm like, yeah, all right. But no, seriously, that's that. I mean, this is where this kind of ends for me. I don't know that I'll do anything more on it. Of course, I said that before. But this just doesn't have the legs. It doesn't have what it needs to have to actually be a great Superman film. It's meh to lower meh at best. So let me know if you think I'm wrong here. Did you go see this? Were you happy with the way this turned out? Like I said, there's some great moments in it, but they're just overshadowed by stupid humor coming in and goofy stuff, and you're not knowing why this is happening. And well, that happened off screen, and now I don't understand what's happening there. And like the weird Russian leader guy that was like so creepy. I'm just like, nobody would elect him to be the dog catcher. I'm like, you couldn't have got somebody who was even mildly charismatic to play the Russian guy who's inspiring all these people to go in and attack this country and take it over. And I'm just like, Hollywood doesn't understand good and evil anymore, because they don't believe in it. They're all gray. They're all just caught in this weird thing of whatever they want to do is okay. And so they don't understand what goes wrong when they make this kind of a movie, and people don't flock to it. People don't identify with it because it's so ambiguous that you just end up going, why? I don't understand any of this. Zack Snyder had the same problem. He's like, go back, watch the Donner films. You can feel the American patriotism. You can feel the hopefulness of Superman. You can feel of what made America great. Even if you don't think America is great now, it was great before. I still think it is. Not as great as it was, because of the bad choices that we're making as people. But I don't know. This is just it's a sad commentary on where we are when we can't even make a Superman film that understands that Superman is a very American thing, and it's about what's best and brightest and most hopeful about America. You get this weird thing kind of going on throughout this film where you feel like kind of what they did in Avengers, where they're like, they want the politicians to decide, and Lois is all pissed off that Superman didn't go talk to the president, and he didn't talk to the Secretary of Defense before he went and intervened in this war. And I mean, it's just such a bizarre, and Superman's inability to respond in a meaningful way that doesn't make him look like a crazed lunatic just came off as like Superman is extremely intelligent. That's the thing that and he's very humble and cool about it. So you never he's never in your face about how smart he is. But Superman is actually extremely smart. extremely smart. In fact, that's how he beats a lot of his enemies, by being smarter than they are. But it's and like figuring it out how to get around their intelligence with his, and there's just none of that in this. You just feel like Superman's just flailing around, and he's getting his butt kicked by everybody and their dog throughout this film, literally everybody and the dog. And you're just like, you're not super. You're not even hardly a man half the time in this film. I just don't. Anyway, so that's how I feel about it. I hope you guys, if you feel differently about it, then if you thought this was the greatest film ever, cool. Like I said, my wife loved it. But this is not. If you're a Superman fan, you're not gonna think this was the best thing ever. You're gonna think that this was maybe moderately okay to absolutely awful, which is kind of where I fell in the spectrum. So Kamikaze says the thing I always saw about Zack Snyder was he didn't want to be like Marvel, but went too far. However, I liked his take. Yeah, and I mean, Man of Steel, in my opinion, is a better film than this one, despite the problems I have with Man of Steel, because Cavill did such a better job at being Superman, or was allowed to do a better job at being Superman than this poor guy was. But I like I said, I have my issues with Man of Steel and the Zack Snyder universe completely, but he did some things better than Gunn did here. So that's not saying much. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you jumping in on this stream. I hope you enjoyed it. This will probably be the last time I talk about this. Next live stream I'm planning is hopefully to do with my brothers after we go see Tron Ares, which won't be till like the 10th of October, unless something else comes up. I'm getting ready to go into the fields to bale straw this year, and I'm going to be doing that for weeks and long hours. So, and then I've been trucking. So the videos you've been seeing, obviously you've been seeing me coming to you from the truck, because I'm going all over the United States again. So anyway, thank you guys for being here, and we will talk to you all next time. Stay safe out there. Bye now.